Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday morning or maybe almost afternoon. My name is Camila Borakaita, and I am a pre-sales engineer at Hermitage Solutions. And today we will be tackling the topic of demystifying patch management. Sounds very mysterious, but that is why today we have invited our guest, Action1, who have developed a solution specifically for patch management. And today we have a pre-sales engineer, Francois Biot from Action1. Thank you for coming, and maybe you can introduce yourself shortly.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So my name is Francois Biot. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Action1. I have been in the industry for a long time, not really in patch management, but in cybersecurity, cloud infrastructure, and IT and data protection. I'm happy to join today.
Okay, well then maybe you can also introduce Action1 a bit so that all of our listeners just know where they are.
So let me share my screen first. Yeah, so a few words about Action1. So for people who don't know us, we are a US-based company based in Houston. The company is quite young, so it's been founded in 2018. So as you have seen, we have a lot of words, but we have a lot of customers. So the customer base is quite huge. Simply because we are offering, as you might not know, we are offering 200 endpoint free for life. So a lot of people are using it. And this is what the philosophy of our founders, Alex Volk and Mike Walters, they were the the founders as well in Netflix. I don't know, maybe you know the company or the product. So their philosophy was really to make patch management easy for everyone. And so that's why they wanted to give this tool accessible for everyone. So that's why we have 200 endpoint free for life. So so basically, yeah. So the philosophy of the product, and you will see during the demo, it's simplicity. So they were Mike and Alex were had in mind to create a tool and a solution, a platform that make your life easier for patch management. And you will tell us at the end if you think it is true or not. So we have a lot of nice feature in our platform. So we do third-party patching. We have a software repo. Basically, is not huge. It's more than 270 application inside, but each application is checked against antivirus, anti-malware. It's not a community repo, so so it's not shared by all the world. So and it's shared between you and us. So we have, of course, enterprise integration, so you can connect via Entra ID, Okta, Google. You can use our API. So everything I will demo at the end, you can do via API. So we have the vulnerability management, so it's done in almost in real time. So you don't have to schedule a scan. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about P2P. P2P, this is our protocol to ensure that you are not, taking all the bandwidth of. So each endpoint, instead of downloading their package, they will download some part of the patch or the software, and then they will exchange between them. And so the project was designed for, of course, to match all the security standards as today. So, like I say, you can connect using your favorite MSI, using single sign-on. All the communication from the agent is based on TLS 1.2 with IES 25066 signing. You can do IP restriction. Of course, we provide role-based access. You can define, I will show you in the demo, you can define very granular task for your role. And of course, we have an audit trail, so that's your cybersecurity team can check whatever who is doing what on the web console. I will stop here. We will do that at the end. So.
Yeah, so thank you, Francois, for the short introduction. Right now, we will be moving on to the discussion part of this webinar, and at the end, Francois will show us how the tool works. So if listeners are interested, please keep in mind that we will do the demo part as well. So just so that the users, the listeners, are aware, I will be talking a bit about what is patch management. So patch management is the process of identifying, acquiring, testing, and installing updates into our systems, our software. Those updates are the so-called patches. And why do IT staff and cybersecurity specialists do it? Well, few simple reasons. First of all, it fixes bugs. Second of all, it enhances performance. And another very important part is the fact that it patches vulnerabilities in our environments. So if we would check reports about data breaches, for example, one of the reports that I checked was Verizon's 2025 report. Wait a second. 2025 report, data breach investigations report. So in that particular piece of information, we can see that vulnerability exploitation is one of the major reasons for data breaches. And this is a growing trend. In the past year, it grew about 34%. So 20% of all data breaches are particularly due to this. So cybersecurity specialists are aware that patching needs to be done particularly for this reason. And everyone seems to know that, but there's still hesitance in communities to patch systems. There might be a lot of reasons, and we do want to also ask our listeners, what is the reason that in your environment, patch management is maybe lagging? So I am sending out a poll for you. And if you can, please answer the question. And in the meantime, Francois, maybe you can also comment. What do you see as the main reasons for this?
Yes, so Camila, what I've seen is basically some organizations are really reluctant to patch. I would say as soon as possible because they are afraid to break stuff. So, unfortunately, this is the concept of if if it is not broke, why I'm not going to fix it. So. And some I've seen some people as well that they rely on their cybersecurity team. So there's sometimes like kind of silo between the IT team responsible of patching and the cybersecurity team that say, okay, you need to patch this, but how are we going to patch it? Do you have a tool? No, this is your job. So there's like a kind of, I would say, small conflict between teams. So that's why there is some that's why people don't patch right away. So that's unfortunately, and some people think, okay, we have a nice XDR or EDR, protecting the endpoint, and that's enough, which is wrong.
Well, then let us see what the listeners have shared with us. Do you see the results?
Yeah, fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah, so the most common reason, fear of breaking systems after patching. I guess the first reason that you did mention, that if it's not broken, why do it, is the most common one. But fatigue from constant updates, that is a bit of an interesting thing for me. You see, I come from a medical background a bit, so I did some research and I found the term patch fatigue while reading up on patching in general. Have you heard it before?
Yeah, so patch fatigue is almost like, it sounds to me like 10 years ago was the same or less than, in for sub teams or log management, there is too many alert fatigue. So, and you need to find the right what are the right patch. I mean, to what needs to be patched right away. So it's always I can feel the IT teams are overwhelming because when there is more and more patch available right now, so there is more and more vulnerability detect. So this, I'm afraid, this will be increasing more and more over the years. So
Well, I
that's
think
why you
that
need to have a tool right now to
I
solve
think
to
that
help you.
that is natural since we're relying on IT tools more and more, and there's always more software that we need to install, that we need to curate and take care of. Uh, but if there is a term for it, like patch fatigue, obviously there is a trend that we have this growing need to patch, and
Yeah.
some of our listeners did put, for example, lack of IT staff to keep up with these patches. So for those listeners that are suffering from the fatigue, that have lack of staff, uh, could you give them some advice maybe? What would they have to prioritize, and how can they patch most effectively to save their inner resources as well?
Well, yeah. So there is no, I would say, magic recipe. So it's always like everything in life. It's a matter of compromise. So, uh, but there is one directive from the NIST. I think it's the 800-40 that tells you to, in each organization, they promote the fact that to create like a patch management team. So,
Mm-hmm.
with people from the IT department, from cybersecurity, and maybe and from the line of business, and probably a risk manager, depending on the size of the company. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, this is valuable for large company, mid-sized company. For small business, is more difficult, but a partner can do that. So, uh, they need to evaluate. I would say we'll talk about this, but along the webinar, I guess you need to identify what are your endpoint at risk, and then evaluating if you what is the risk of patching right now or not patching right now, and then to prioritize the patching. So it's a more process that each organization, my feeling, they have to go through and define. Okay, we are going to patch. You know. Right away the endpoint that are not critical. But the one that are critical, we need to study. So what we will give the our SLA will be like anything between 48 hours to a couple of days, maybe for critical stuff.
So
So
would you agree that basically then the most important thing would be not to overlook like your inventory of what systems you have, and then kind of draw the line of how important they are for your work in general, and just start there and then start building up on those patch management policies?
correct. So
Um,
yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so we can check for a moment if we have anything in our Q&A box. Wait. Okay, at the moment I do not. Oh, okay. There is one message. Hi, Francois. Get started the session. Okay, so at the moment we do not have
Yeah,
any questions. We can move on
this is my fan
further.
club.
Yes. Um, yeah, so this is the spooky season, and we are talking about patch management. So, how about we talk about some patch management horror stories? Uh, I did try to find some examples that are more local and EU based of patch management basically gone wrong. So right now I will share a story with you. This is an incident that happened in May 2nd of 2024. So the city of Helsinki announced that there was a data breach in their division of education. Right now, Julia will share the screen of the report regarding this particular incident. So this data breach happened because lack of patch management. Particularly, there was a vulnerability in remote servers for this education division, and the estimates are that millions of files got stolen and thousands of user data got leaked. So in one report, it said from 80,000. Then if you look further on, it goes up to 150,000 students and guardians and also employees got some sort of their user data basically exposed. We do see that incidents like these are really damaging to companies. We're talking about the public sector here, but if in the private sector something like that happened, it might even ruin not only your reputation, but business in general. How often do you see cases like this where companies get breached, particularly due to a lack of patch management?
I would say, I have an history as well. I can share my slide and let me share my slide and you will see. If you go back to history, there is the famous Equifax, in 2017.
Yeah.
There was the Microsoft Exchange as well, the 0-day, and the Move It as well. We are still actually in our report a way to check this Move It vulnerability that was affecting a lot of organizations. The NotPetya, of course, very well known in 2017. And the cause of Pi and Spike. So and patch email server. So unfortunately, there is still issues. So according to who you speak to, they say patch management is if you don't patch, there is like 60 to 80% of to be attacked, and your data will be leaked and compromised. Or so. Unfortunately, customers don't say how the reason why right away of their data leakage, for example, or but recently, I've seen some French Federation of Sport, that's been, they don't protect very well the data, and everything was leaked. We had the one of the big mobile telecom company as well in France that was, had a data leakage as well due to potentially they say non-patch servers. So it's unfortunately it's going on, but
yes, but there is a tendency that even after such huge incidents happen, there's still a lack of companies that do go further on to create and maintain their patch management policies. I do have an insight. You did mention that the company was started in 2018, Action1, correct?
yes,
Is there any
correct.
correlation with Equifax? Because now I'm seeing 2017 it happened, and then 2018, oh, Action1 appeared.
Probably, I don't know.
Okay, so but maybe then do you see a tendency after these big breaches happen? Do companies come more often to you with requests to purchase your particular product? Like, do they only see the benefits after something major basically happens that that starts to shake their world? Okay, maybe this happened to someone else. Maybe then I need to make sure it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, obviously I will say yes, but to be honest, when you start digging with customers, sometimes they say, okay, it's basically for compliance issue. So because they want to be compliant, there is a more and more audit, as you know, the new directive of GDPR, of course, on NICE 2, or DORA, or all these, regulation enforce, to prove the company that you did everything to protect your data.
Yeah.
And some basically just say, okay, well, we need a patch management tool because, as you know, the patch management is probably the first line of defense. So if you don't patch very well, then your first line of defense is basically in danger. So, of course, there is always other techniques to protect you, but
so on that note, you did mention patch management for regulation. I will send out another poll to our listeners. This one particularly will ask you, what is your main reason to purchase a patch management tool, so that we can see the overall trend. It will be interesting if someone does need patch management after an incident. Because as you mentioned, companies usually aren't that keen to share, but this poll is anonymous, so don't take it into your head, if anything. And you did mention directives and regulations. So, besides the thing we talked about, that incidents are damaging for reputation, they can be really managing for companies in general, especially in EU where there's GDPR, there's NIS2. In the Baltics, so in Lithuania and Latvia already have NIS2, but in Estonia it's coming up. So, there's different the progress is different, but the end goal will still be the same. So if you experience a data breach, you will have to answer for it. So if you don't have all the tools in order to protect your systems, companies gonna have to pay fines up to 10 million euros, or 2% of their total annual turnover. So that is huge money and a huge impact. So you did mention that these tools do help meet compliance. Can you clarify on is it for just GDPR? Is it for ISO? What kind of standards does it help Action1 meet? What kind of compliance standards does this tool help you meet as a client?
Yeah, so like I said, so it depends really on the like I say, on some customers. So of course, GDPR in Europe is strong. I would say the NIS2 directive and there is the result of the the result of the survey. So you want to read it? Yeah.
No, you can finish your answer and then we can comment.
So the like I said, GDPR and the NIS2 and the ISO 27001 are important in Europe. And they are, and don't forget now, patch management is part of the process to obtain regulation compliance for a company like PCI DSS or IPA or SOC, NIS2 that we spoke about it. But in the UK, for example, they have a cyber essential label for enterprise, and they use as a proof our dashboard in Action1 to prove that they put the SLA in place to fix patch management. Any critical, for example, patch, they will put an SLA to fix in between 48 hours or 2 days.
Yeah, so just to sum up, essentially, most compliances this tool will help with. I'm quite shocked that there are no listeners who are looking into this tool for compliance check. I thought that this would be one of the more popular ones, but we can talk then about other value. What is the other benefits that Action1 will add to customers? Because I see that the most popular answer was in fact the need to move from manual automated from manual patching to automated patching for efficiency. So maybe you can comment on that a bit.
Yeah, so that's where we help a lot. So actually, let me share a slide. where I put it. I lost it. Nice. I lost my. I lost. Sorry. Hold on. Just yeah. Here it
It's
is.
okay.
Yeah. Let's share it. Okay. So this is where we have the most actually. So again, I lost Zoom. Okay. Share now. Okay. This was a survey made by Walidex. So just to prove you that's where we have to my point of view, the biggest value of Action1 is to help you to reduce the time that you are doing patching and and relying on our automation process. So like any tool, I'm not going to lie to you that any tools, is not, you don't click and forget. You have to do some, of course, some, and there is some overlay of administration. So you need to check everything is okay. But that will you reduce your time, spending of manual patching process that you have today and going to Action1. So
the time reduction is very impressive since there was the mention from our listeners that lack of IT staff is a
as well.
valid reason of why patch management sort of falls behind. The time reduction really impressive and can be a great help for small IT teams that maybe have too much resources to take care of. And I can see in our Q&A box that there's a question as well. Does your tool help with inventorying? If yes, what can we see? What endpoint data is stored in the cloud?
So I will say, bear with us. I will do it. I will show it to you during the demo.
Okay. Okay, then
But the
we
answer
can.
is yes.
Yes. Well, then great. Yeah, I will then ping you again during the demo so
Yeah.
that we make sure this question is not lost. Um, okay, let's then move on. And we did talk about what added value patch management has, but you've probably in your time in Action1 have heard customers mention Windows Server update services. Is that too presumptuous or is that correct?
You mean about WSUS, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So
So,
how often do customers come to you and like hear your demo and say, "Yeah, that sounds good, but WSUS exists, so maybe that's enough at the moment." What do you say to them?
so yeah, we at Action1, all my colleagues are saying the same. I would say the same stuff. So WSUS was a great tool when it was invented and available in, I think, in around 2005. I was at Microsoft at that time, so that was. I'm not going to complain to say this was not a bad tool. It was a great tool actually, and people get and I would say at time to learn is is more like it's almost a 20 years tool now, 20-year-old tool. So I think it's was very well designed for the I would say the IT environment and the cybersecurity at that time, but now it's basically kind of obsolete. So that's why Microsoft has decided to to make it obsolete,
Yeah, so
to
maybe
deprecate. Sorry.
let's clarify also to listeners. This isn't new news. It's almost it's over a year old, but in September 20th, 2024, Microsoft did announce that WSUS is being deprecated and will no longer receive new features. So sorry, Julia, you're showing the wrong the wrong the wrong info right now. This is just a passing news. So basically, as you said, this tool was invented like a long time ago at this point. Well, especially from my point of view, I'm born in 97, so But yeah, it was made for a different time, for a different environment. So what would you say Action1 can bring to the table additionally that WSUS just cannot?
So you will see, first of all, we are a SaaS solution, so a cloud solution. So uh, you don't have to. I understand the feeling of all the IT admin that are used to deploy WSUS server to configure them, but you don't need anymore to learn how to configure IIS and SQL database and scale your SUS servers accordingly to number of the endpoint that you need to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the big limitation as today I have seen with WSUS server is only Microsoft update. So no third party, no Chrome, no Zoom, no Adobe. So and yesterday I was answering an RFP for potential customer, and there was, I can see, a mid-sized company. They were like less than 300 employee, but they have a catalog of application more than 450 application.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the way that people are working is totally different than in the 2000 than right now in 2025. So and
Yeah.
recently, there was a CVE awarded to WSUS server that actually you need to apply right now if you have a WSUS for, in connected to the internet
Mm-hmm.
as a front server. You need to apply this CVE as soon as possible.
Okay, so listeners, please do keep in mind because you're hearing information that might be vital. And I guess this is a good message in general for users to move on from. Just if you're planning patch management for the future, think of other inventory that you have, and
Yeah.
maybe solutions like Action1 will help you in a broader sense. And
So
you did
yeah,
Matt.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will have two other points. So the challenge with WSUS is the scaling, a complexity. The more you have endpoint, the more you need a WS server, HUS server, and you need a VPN as well. So for
Mhm.
updating the endpoint outside the organization. So and that's something we solve with Action1. So you don't need VPN anymore.
Mm-hmm. And you did mention also third-party software. So now I do want to touch on that topic a bit. Uh, I will ask our listeners right now, what kind of software would they like to be able to patch using a patch management tool, and then maybe later you can also comment if that is possible via Action1. And yeah, uh, software management. So especially for third parties, I think it is easy to understand why that might be important. For example, I will talk now about one case. Uh, so Julia, right now, if you can share the screen. Um, I will discuss an example from October to November 2024. This is a popular case, so most listeners probably have heard of it, but essentially, there was a Russian linked hacker group called Romcom that found a vulnerability in a Firefox browser. And together with another Microsoft zero-day vulnerability, they managed to bypass security controls, install a backdoor, and basically gain full access onto target environments. And we do have to keep in mind that both the Firefox vulnerability that they abused and the Microsoft ones were both 0 days. But there is a overall trend happening where we see that you know after a 0 day gets announced, and maybe even if patches are available, hackers do try to attack as many targets as possible and hone in on those vulnerabilities. And this phenomenon is actually called patch gap exploitation or end-day exploitation. And yeah, how fast can hackers develop and execute such attacks, and how small is the gap of time that they actually need to start abusing these vulnerabilities?
This is a very, very complex question. So, but I don't have all the figures, the number, the proof, but I would say very, very, very fast. The reason why is that we have seen the growing of RCE exploits or remote code execution, especially in browser. But you need to you need to understand that now the hackers is not one guy, like in the 90s or beginning of the year 2000, that is doing, trying to, take advantage of zero-day vulnerabilities. Now, due to the geopolitical situation, there is armies of hackers. So it's not, it's countries, or they have, each country has even now its own military battalion doing, attacking, so, or creating 0 days, or it's difficult. So there is let me share another slide, so you will see where it is. There it is.
Yeah, but I guess the point is that crime as a service as well has really bought difficult times for companies, since it's easy for hackers, for crime organizations to basically get tools to help with the hacking. Okay, yeah, we see your screen.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say, so we have the huge screens, as you have said, in browser, especially in Google. So you see the web browsers, so more than 600% increase in exploit vulnerabilities. So this is huge, and Microsoft Office application as well. So they are because you are sure that if you are creating a 0 day for Office or browser, you can do a lot of damage, and you can resell, like you say, as a crime as a services in the dark web, you can sell your tool. So, and one important thing is that you see as well the huge increase of Linux vulnerabilities. So, Linux was before like almost, the protected OS, no hackers would create but now it's a wild, wild west. So nobody cares. So we are attacking everyone. So that's why by next month we are going to do endpoint protection for Linux as well, endpoint.
Oh, that's really big news. That's really exciting that this is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, but the numbers are quite shocking. I mean, everyone knows that web browsers are an often target for attack vectors, but basically with statistics like that, I don't know, companies have to constantly then just monitor and keep updating them. So yeah, for situations like that, having automated patch management, I would say it is essential. Right now, I am also checking on the results of what our listeners answered they would like to be able to patch. And there is the results: CMS, Zoom, all, everything. Simple softs installed via executable files, and open EID. What does your tool help with in patch management with third-party software? Can it, for example, for the customer that said all, is it possible to patch it all?
Yeah, well, I would say yes. I will show you again in the demo. Yeah, short answer is yes. And the reason why is that if there is a CVE attached to your application, even that we don't support it, we will detect it, and we will provide the update if it is published by the software vendor.
Okay. Well, then also let's check the Q&A box. And one of the listeners sent a question. Hi, is it possible to use Action1 for server with limited internet connection, maybe through some agent or proxy?
Through a proxy, yes. Yeah. So you still have to deploy our agent, but then use a proxy server.
Mm-hmm. Then another question, how can we manage software patches without disrupting users' daily work? Is there a way to notify users that they might need to close certain applications so they can do it in a convenient time?
Yeah, so I have this question often. Unfortunately, there is no real unique answer because it depends on the application. Some applications are, I would say, modern, like application like the browser, they can update quickly, even you don't notice. When you see on your Google, sorry, on your Google browser or Edge, you can say, okay, update now, and it's closed and reopen. So this is pretty fast, but some applications are still, you need to shut down the application, make sure that zero process is running. So those applications are maybe, I would say, pain in the ass, but we have a solution. So you can write a script that will shut down the application and then update it, and then force a reboot if you want to do it at the time and the convenience that you want to do it. So you can automate all of this with Action1.
Just some additional steps would be required, but the possibility is out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next part of our discussion. This is gonna be like a short game called Truth or Myth. I will be sharing some facts with you. Well, not facts. They can be facts or they can be just a total lie. And then you will have to comment if it's true or myth. These truths or myths will also be going out to our audiences as well. So if you have the time, please answer as well. So wait a second. Truth or myth number one. A robust patch management process includes inventorying systems, prioritizing updates, testing, and verifying deployment.
I need to answer.
Yes. You need to answer and to comment. So is this
Yeah,
true
of
or
course.
myth?
Of course, this is the truth. But your process has to, like you say, identify, evaluate, and prioritize properly. So yeah, of course,
What
it's true.
what do you feel like most teams skip on? They think that it might not be essential, but it's actually very important.
What I see is that in customer that are doing all this step manual and or using different tools. So the
Mm-hmm.
different tools that don't communicate with each other. So they have sometimes really nice inventory tools,
Mm-hmm.
but when we run Action1 and we see difference, we say, okay, so we probably do the way to check your difference, but then the most challenging is the evaluating part. Today, it's hard, even with Action1. That's why I'm trying to help in that sense. I'm trying to develop like a Python script that will evaluate all the patch if it is necessary or not to apply it right away or to patch right away.
Mm-hmm.
So so yeah, it's the most challenging. So the prioritization to prioritize properly according
Mm-hmm.
to your I would say environment, to your type of endpoint, and to your regulation and your business inside the company.
So one question though, you did say develop scripts to prioritize. Uh, And we did talk about 0 days in general. So what would you just in general recommend to listeners, like for 0 day patches? How fast should they apply them? And should they have this whole process also involved, or just, not think ahead and do it? Because, 0 days do have great risk involved in still having them in your environment.
Yeah, there is I would say debate on 0 day or CVSS score like of equal to 10. Some people say you don't have to patch away if your company is not at risk and if the endpoint is not in the risky situation. So again, it's a compromise. So you don't. You don't have to patch a 0 day if your endpoint is not doing anything critical inside the company. But even if it's a risk, so at some point you have to do it. So this is what it is hard to prioritize your patching procedure. The tool that I was describing is more like to say, based on what Action1 has discovered and what you have been missing, then the tool tell you, okay, you have been missing this update, so this is important to patch. So it's more like, paying attention of what you have been missing.
Okay. Well then we're growing short on time. You can see the results. Bravo to our listeners. They are aware of the whole patching procedure that needs to be done. A few though, keep in mind what we talked about today so that you're also able to apply it to your environments. And since we are short on time, I will be launching. Oh, wait a second. I will be launching the last truth or myth. So this is just simple question, simple statement. Patch management can be outsourced. It's missing it at the end of the sentence, but can it be outsourced? Truth or myth?
Truth. So the truth is that we have targeting as well MSP companies that are providing to small companies or medium-sized companies the patch management process for them.
Okay. Well then, just simple question would be, how is your tool adapted for MSPs? Like, how can it help them with providing the service? Because the tendency is that MSP services are growing and there's more of them developing. So, how can your tool help them in their business?
So you will see in the demo in a few minutes ago.
Okay.
No. Just we can help. You will see that we can create different organization within your own tenant.
Yeah, so most of our listeners are aware that this particular service can be outsourced. As you see, the truth or myths weren't very difficult, but I do feel like it gave some material to discuss. Now, before moving to the demo part, I do see one additional question from the audience. What additional features compared with Microsoft Intunes does your product provide?
So this is really a key question to ask yourself. So we have a lot of customers using Intune and Action1. So there is no, I will say, integration between the two products. Most of our customers that have Intune, they use Intune to deploy our agent, basically, and that's it. So, and they leave the patch manager to us, or sometimes they leave only the third-party patch management to us, and they continue using Intune for patching Windows updates, which is fine as well. So it really depends, of some customers find Intune complicated to use, hard to use. There is a learning curve that is sometimes difficult for them. So that's why you will see with Action1 is really simple.
Okay, so since it seems that we are moving towards our last
let's do the
step.
demo.
I will be asking you to do the demo of Action1 so our listeners can actually see how does the tool look. And you can freely ask the Q&A all of your questions regarding this tool. Francois did tell that he enjoys being interrupted and answering questions on the go, so I will be asking him anything if you just write it to me in the Q&A box. So please go ahead, Francois.
Yes, please feel free to fire out the question, but leave me time as well to show you most of the product. So, okay, so you see this is the web console. So the first thing, of course, to deploy our agent. So the agent, you can download it from here, this web page for Windows, Mac. Like I said, Linux is coming next month. So you can download the package directly from here, or you can use command lines, or you can use even a direct link, okay? So there is multiple ways to deploy our agents. Like I said, some of our customers are using Intune, but you can use a simple GPO as well. So as soon as the endpoint will be discovered by our agent, you will see here the number of endpoint growing. You will see the number of software that we have detected, then the vulnerabilities and all the patching that we have detected and pushed to you to do the upgrade. So a few words on the dashboard. So here you have the gauge, and you can see you can modify this one based on your SLA. Sorry, by SLA we mean the number of days you need to fix a critical high or medium or low vulnerabilities, or same for patching here. And this is the one that was mentioning to you that in UK they use those dashboards to prove that to get the cyber essential label. And here you see right away like the matrix, so you can see right away, for example, the high overdue vulnerability that I need to apply. I can click on it, and then I will see all the CVE. So this scan is done automatically. You don't have to schedule it. So. And for each CVE, you can see the number of endpoint impact, which software is impact on this CVE, and all the details. So like the CVSS score, the CSAF KEV, and the source as well. So we provide the source where this information is coming from. Like everyone, we use the NVD from the NSIT, but I don't know if you have been following since the Trump administration arrived. They stopped the funding for a few months, and then the backlog was huge because there is like 100 CVE per day almost created right now. So that's why we use another source, which is NVD++, another database, and we use the Microsoft one as well. So let's go back to the number of endpoints. So here for each endpoint, let's go back to the one question that we have for MSP. So how do we help? So you can create multiple organizations here. So either by customer, it can be a business unit, it can be some of our customers, they just create one organization to patch server and one to patch desktop and laptop because this is a different team. So they have different dashboard.
Is there a common dashboard for MSPs where they can overlook all of the tenants all at once?
Yeah. It's coming soon, Camilla, next year. So today, no, unfortunately, it's different dashboard. So let's go back to the endpoint. So the endpoint, you can create groups based on your endpoint. So for example, I have all my, here you can see I have all my endpoint in my Active Directory domain. I can see all the endpoints that are disconnected that I didn't see in more than 30 days. So there is a different way to create your endpoint groups. You can use, different criteria. For example, here I'm using the AD organization unit, but you can use AD security group. It can be based on the architecture, for example, Intel or AMD. We could use custom attribute. I will explain what it is. It can be the CPU name. It can be the IP address range. It can be based on GPU model. It can be based on the machine type, virtual, physical, or manufacturer like HP, Dell. So you have multiple ways to create a group. An endpoint can belong to multiple groups as well. So for each endpoint, so you see right away here in the line, the whole number of vulnerability that we have detected, the missing updates. You can, here use the icon to reboot, to run scripts directly on the endpoint, and to remote desktop. So for each endpoint, so let's take one up. You see right away, so for each endpoint, we have a general tab where we see the name, the user logged in, the ADOU, the OS, our agent running, which version, the last boot, and again, some hardware information about CPU, GPU, disk, RAM, IP address, MAC address, and we have this custom attribute. So what is a custom attribute? It's basically you can apply to endpoint whatever information that you want. So it can be is geolocalization, is it a physical or virtual machine? It can be dynamic information or static information. For example, I have dynamic information here. I'm checking if BitLocker is on or off, or I can check the disk free space on the C drive. I can display, for example, the Windows license. So I will explain you, but how we retrieve this information, but basically you can guess it's a script running time to time. Here in the missing update, yes.
There's
Question?
also a question from the audience.
Yeah.
How is a sync made with on-premise AD?
We don't sync with premise AD, so that's the beauty. So you don't have to. Now, Action1 is not connected to your AD. So this is the information that we retrieve from the agent. So your endpoint has to be, connected to your AD, but that's it. We don't use any connection or connector between Action1 and your AD. Okay. Here you can see the missing update for that endpoint. So for that endpoint, I can really deploy the update here if I want. Vulnerability is the same, so I don't have any vulnerability here, and install software. So I can see right away all the installed software. I can force an uninstall. For example, if I see, NCAP is not an approved tool for end user, so I can uninstall it. Automatic history. So we'll see this is all the history of all the tasks that we are doing on the endpoint, and you see all the status, success, or errors. You can view details here, and you click on it, and you'll see information. Here, the endpoint was not available during 24 hours. Here in the installed software. So that was one of your questions, but I will come back to that as well, about IT asset management. Here you can see all the software that we have detected on all your endpoint. You see the version, the vendor, the name, and you see the newest update, if the update is available, and how many endpoints this is impacting. So if you click here on the number of endpoints, you see the number of endpoints. And here I can say I can deploy the software, deploy the update, or uninstall the software. For example, if 7-zip is not approved in my organization, so I can force an uninstall here. And then we will see in automation, I can create a script to force the uninstall like every day. Update approval. Oh, that's coming, sorry. So update approval, this is basically all the patch that we have detected that you need to apply in your environment. So again, here we can provide you details. So about the metadata of the patch. So you see, for example, the Windows KB article with the vendor, what type is it, security update or update source. So this is important to remember, but you will see why. Again, here you can install directly a patch if you want to the endpoint group that you want. So you can just select the endpoint group. Then you don't have to approve or decline each patch unless if you want to. Some of our customers, they say because they receive an order from their cybersecurity team, so they need to approve each one or not. But you don't have to go one by one and approve or decline. So you can rely on Action1. And where the magic starts is in automation. In automation, that's where we are going to create the policy to deploy updates, to deploy software, to schedule your reboot, to run your script, uninstall software, and if we have time, I will explain you what are the rings, which is important. So let's have a look on deploy updates. So the first option is deploy which update. So I can say all. So that means all that we have detected here. Okay. So this could be a good enough solution if you have the small footprint of endpoint, but when it's better to filter, I would say, your patching policy. So what I do recommend personally is that create one policy to update everything is about OS, and another one that would do everything about application. Okay. Then the next step is the update approval. So I do have a choice to let Action1 pushing the updates for me, or I want to approve my patching approval. So here, if I select require update approval, I have to go to the update approval and select one by one what I want to deploy. So then if there is a reboot, I can say, I don't want any reboot at all. I will schedule them later on, but that's an option. If there is a reboot required by the update, the end user will receive a pop-up message. So that pop-up, you can, translate the message in different language. You can change it, and there will be a timeout. So the timeout is when we force the end user to reboot. You have no choice. So he can snooze it, but in that case, we can snooze it until 4 hours. Okay. We can customize the pop-up. So that means you can apply your own logo on it. The same here on the web console. So the end user, when we receive the pop-up, he will see you, oh, this is my company IT. This is not Action1 that I don't know what it is about. I can here exclude updates. Basically, if, again, your cybersecurity team or you saw in the news that this is a bad KBE article from Microsoft that's create more problem than it fix, I can add it here, okay, and it will be excluded in my process. One important thing, we will deactivate update in Windows setting endpoints. Why? Is because otherwise we will not be able to connect the Windows update server and download the update. So the endpoint on the Action1 architecture, the agent on your endpoint is doing all the job. He's the one contacting the Windows update server, downloading it, and applying to it. So this can be blocked if you are using like WSUS and you have or you have a GPO that is blocking that. So we will need to deactivate it, and please check that you don't have a GPO that is blocking this. For third party, it's not the problem because our agent is going to contact our CDN server, and our CDN server is retaining the information from the software vendors. So the next step is basically to choose your endpoint group. So basically all my endpoint, my AD demo, or I can do select individually. And then the last step is basically you need to rename your policy according to your convention. And since we are doing a patching policy, so this will be a repetitive task. So we are not going to run once. So we're going to run like every extra hour or weekly or monthly, like the second Tuesday of the month or the last Sunday of the month. So depending on what you want to do. If it is weekly, for example, if I select Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I can select the hour, it will be AM or PM, the current time zone, and we can choose the local endpoint time, which is nice when you have end user traveling to a different time zone.
What
And
happens
then we have
when the users are offline? Do the updates still go through after they go back online?
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to explain right away. So we have a retry window. So this is a 24-hour retry window, but it can be in days or minutes. So what does it mean? So on Monday, if the endpoint is offline, and so the user go back on Tuesday, start his laptop, let's say, So then we will start right away to push the update. Okay. So you click finish and that's it. So let me give you an example. So I have the update policy only for OS, like I say. I have one that is doing only where is it? Application, sorry, like I said to you. So running at different time. Sometimes I put like a buffer. I'm not deploying as soon as they are detected. I'm creating a delay of 3 days. So that could be something that, depending again on your patch management process, let's wait 3 days until applying a patch because we can, test it before. So we have the notion of ring. So I will explain to you as well. Then we can do a specific, patching like target an application. For example, here I'm doing a policy just to upload the patch for Chrome, as you can see. So application, so critical, non-security, security update, and Chrome. So you can play with the filters. So I did one as well only for Defender updates. So you see that security update, definition update only for Defender. So you can play with our filter. You have source, you have, like I say, severities, can be critical, high, or you can use a vendor, like everything, Microsoft, everything, Oracle, it's up to you. So you can play with our filter and be precise in your policy. So this is how we, you see, it's easy how we, create an automation policy for patching. So we have the notion of ring. So I don't know if if everyone is familiar with ring. So what is a ring? Ring is basically, let me do that slide quickly. A ring is basically, you will start with a small environment and then progress up to, you can have like a 4 or 5 ring if you want. So this is basically like a test, dev, and production scenario. So we are going to start on a small endpoint group where your application is running and you see the behavior of the result of the dispatching. So basically a ring, so you create a ring 0. So my ring 0, for example, it's OS patching, okay? I deploy as soon as possible, as soon as they're available, but I will deploy to a patching group 1. So that patching is basically like a test environment. And I can schedule it whenever I want, like can be running every day. And then my ring 1 will be based on ring 0, okay? I can see the deployment of ring 0 if it's successful or not. So in that case, it's 100% successful, but I did only one endpoint. I have a small virtual lab. But you can define your own, I would say, define your own success. So your success rate is, I need, for example, to go to the next phase. If my success rate is equal to 90%, and I did at least on 5 endpoints, then I can proceed to the next phase. Okay.
So a short interruption. We are approaching our time. So maybe a few more key features you want to show, and then we can move to the conclusion. Okay, thank you.
And then so you get the point, so you can expand. So let me jump on the software repo. So here in automation, so you can deploy software, run scripts. So basically a script that you can run, like the custom attribute is a script that we are running. I want to show you the software depot. Here you can deploy software. So all you need is to find the name in our software repo. Our software repo is here. So like I said, we have more like 270 applications. We manage different versions. For example, here's the different version of WebEx. All this software is checked by our cybersecurity teams. Again, viruses, malware. So you can deploy a configuration here, and you can say, okay, I'm going to deploy to my endpoint next, and then you select when you want to deploy it. If the application is not there, or if you have an in-house application, you can add it, basically. So here you can say, this is my app, for example. You can provide a vendor, it would be me. You can provide a description. You can select Windows or Mac. Again, the organization, so it can be customer or business unit. You select my enterprise, that will be available for everyone. You save, you add the versions, you see the versioning. So that will be one. But let's say this is 1.0, and you provide notes. You can select the Windows platform. You can select end user license agreement if you want. Don't forget to save. And then the next step is to provide your binaries. So for 32-bit, 64-bit Windows RM, so let's upload a software. I will upload that client up here. And then you will see this is the an MSI package, okay? And then we give you a preview, the MSI command that we're going to run. You can add your own key. For example, this is a license, could be 1, 2, 3. If it's an exe or script like .bat, or you can add your own silent switch or uninstall switch, and you exit code for success and reboot. And the last step is to provide, actually, this is a feature that most of our customers do like. You can provide extra steps. So, for example, if your application need a Java runtime with a specific version, you can add the version here. Let's say it's present version 8. You can say, I want to install this before sending my package, because my software is going to check it. I can run a script. I can from the script library, or you can copy and paste here. And again, I'm going to run after the install to check everything is okay. And then I can schedule a reboot, because reboot is needed. So we can do, of course, after the installation. And since they have the same priority, you can say, okay, the reboot will be last. Okay, and you save. And here you have your application, and you can deploy it. If I can have 5 minutes, I want to show you the built-in reports. So there was one question about the IT asset management. So I show you the software inventory, but we have the hardware inventory. So the hardware summary is pretty nice. Actually, it's live. So that means you see the refresh is done here. So you see right away all the hardware components of your endpoint: CPU, GPU, NIC, disk, RAM, the BIOS version. You can export to a CSV or HTML, or you can subscribe to it, so get it by email. Okay. So we have a lot of reports. We have 100 reports. You can see for the patch management, you have the daily update summary, the weekly update summary. Right away, you can see all the patch and they have been patched or not, and the endpoint involved. You can see, I don't know if you have been moving all the, I would say, all your endpoint to Windows 10 to 11, but we have a Windows 11 hardware compatibility report here. So you can see right away all the endpoints that are capable or not capable to be upgraded to Windows 11. And by the way, in the software repo, we provide you as well all the update for Windows, the feature updates. So you can have all the feature update of Windows 11 and the Windows 10 to 11, including the 25H2 that was released in October. So here again, you can click and say deploy to your endpoint. So this is really nice, and most of the customers do like it. In patch management, there is another report that is nice, the missing and third-party Windows update. So you can see right away what did you miss in terms of patching. Maybe your policy didn't catch it. And in vulnerability management, you can see the vulnerability summary. So all the CVE score that are on the situation, if it's overdue or need to be patched. I will finish here if the time for just questions.
Yeah. Perfect execution. Actually, since we are a bit short on time, how about if our listeners had to take free takeaway notes from this session, what would you highlight to them as the most important things?
But the most important thing that, as we discussed, is basically, like we say, first, identify your endpoint. So do an IT asset management, and you have seen we can help. So you can display all the software installed and all the hardware components on your endpoint. Then is evaluating. So you need to evaluate. So all the patch that we are pushing to you. So create a policy related to your evaluation. So, and then to prioritize. So create automation task, and you can define, okay, all the critical. So I need to deploy it within 3 days. All the rest I can deploy within a week, and I can schedule the day when end user are not working, but I can do at night. So basically, this is the takeaway that I want you to keep in mind today. And as well, of course, you can try our solution. You have 200 endpoint free, so you can take your time to test it.
Yeah, that is a very sweet bonus, I would say. So listeners, do keep in mind. Thank you, Francois. Thank you for the demonstration. Thank you for today's talk. We really appreciate having you here. Also, big thank you for the listeners. Right now.
No more question?
No, I am sharing my screen with you so that you are just aware if today you got interested by Action1 or you have some questions regarding this product, please contact us via email. So info@hermitage.ee, LV or LT, depending on your country. And we will be more than happy to answer your questions, organize a demo with Action1 so that you are able to have an even more in-depth view of this product. Again, thank you everyone so much. And yeah, hope you have a lovely day. So thank you, Francois.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.